Hey everybody, welcome to Cooking with Sylv Mac, and today I am gonna make a brisket point out on the Traeger grill. I got all of my ingredients here, my seasonings. I've injected it. Don't judge me. All you Texas folks, do not judge me. And I'm gonna go on and start seasoning it up in its couple of seconds, but first, y'all know what I gotta do. Y'all better grab that glass of wine and let's get to grilling. I went to the butcher today, picked it up, and he cut it off for me. It's about 3.5 pounds. It's got a little bit of the flat on there as well, but look at the marbling on this. Wait, I gotta show you around this way. Are you kidding me? Oh. Okay, so we all know cooking a brisket takes forever and a day. So I started this process at about 5 o'clock. It's 6:15 now, Arizona time. Let me show you how I injected it and what I used. This is prime beef, y'all. Look at that marbling again. Oh my goodness, it is just absolutely stunning. Luckily, my butcher ended up trimming it up for me, so I didn't have to bother about trimming it up because he did it for me. Anyway, so I put it into my baking dish, and I ended up using the Cosmo Q injection. And you can mix this with the liquid of your choice. And I decided to use the Better Than Bouillon roasted garlic. Mix that up along with some habanero hot pepper. It's ground pepper and it's really spicy. Then I simply injected it all over the meat. I went probably like every 2 inches I would inject. And then it was just bursting with juice. Okay, y'all, so now that we have gotten it all injected, it has been sitting now for like an hour and a half. So, which is good because you want it to bring it to room temperature. You don't want to cook the meat cold because then it tends to cook unevenly. As far as the rub is concerned, I'm gonna keep this super simple, right? I've got some smoked sea salt, which you guys know I just love smoked salt. Then, also, when I was talking to one of my friends that's a pitmaster down in Fort Worth, Texas, his name is Trey, he told me that you should use the butcher block pepper. You can see how large the granules are, so it really does really well when you're cooking a big piece of meat like this. And then I'm gonna also just use some garlic powder and spritz it with some olive oil. In the olive oil though, I sort of put some, about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic in there and maybe 1 shallot. So it just infuses the olive oil, gives it a good flavor. All right, so now let's go on and season this puppy up. All right, just going to take this out of the injection. Okay, I'm gonna start it with the olive oil and just spray that. And you want to be generous, but not too generous because I've injected it, you know? So I still want the meat to shine, that beefy flavor to be the star of the show, right? But you want to make sure you season it too. Put some garlic. Flip it over. The very coarse black pepper. I like to be generous with this because I really like mine peppery, but you know, pepper is spicy. So if you don't like it spicy, don't put it on quite as much as I am putting on because I like pepper. Okay. And I am going to cook this fat side up. I don't really have a lot of fat on there, but this part, I want that to render and get into that meat. All right, so now we're out here poolside, got my Traeger going, and I decided to do something a little different after I drink a little bit of wine. I've got 2 smoking tubes in there this time because I really wanted to make sure I got some good smoke. So I'm gonna go on and put this lovely brisket in. And you want to put the fattier side next to like the place that has more heat. So I'm going to put this little area here and slide it on in. I also want to make sure that my meat stays nice and moist while it's smoking. So I've got a pan of water. You can see I cut up, a little really rough chop of an onion that I had in the refrigerator, a jalapeno, and lots of garlic. And I also poured half of a beer in here. So I'm going to go on and put that on the top, and that'll smoke and be really good. Now I've got everything in place. I need to put my probes in. So I like to use 2 probes because I really want to make sure that I cook to the proper temperature. And you want to put it into the thickest part of the meat. And then I'm going to put another one on the other side. So I got my probes in, got my thermometer here, and it's time to close this puppy up. After the first 2 or 3 hours, then I'm going to start spritzing. And what I've got in here is a little bit of beer and some apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to wait until the internal temperature gets to 165 degrees. Then I'm going to wrap the brisket in some butcher paper and then put it back in there. And then I will pull it once it gets to about 203 degrees. I might even pull it sooner. We'll see. All right, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, so now I am going to spritz the brisket. I also decided to smoke a little salt since I was going to be cooking this so long, and I put a couple of bones back there that I'm going to sort of just smoke because I'm going to make a nice stock with that a little later on. Once this brisket hits 165 degrees internally, I'm going to take it out really quickly, and then I'm going to wrap it up in some butcher paper and then put it back on the grill. Then I want it to cook until it gets to about either between 195 and 203. That's the sweet spot. We're at about 160 degrees right now. And I want to pull it when it gets to 165. So we'll be pulling it shortly. Finally, it reached 165 degrees, so I was able to wrap it. Then some many hours later, it finally hit the temperature of 199, so I pulled it and I wrapped it in still the paper, but wrapped it in towels and put it in the cooler for an hour and a half to let it rest. Okay, it's the next day. I started this yesterday at 5 p.m., put the brisket on the Traeger. I wrapped it up, and now I have taken it off the Traeger, let it rest for about an hour and a half, and now I'm gonna go on and cut it and see what we got. Oh yeah, does that look good or what? I wrapped it with I wrapped it in the butcher paper with some onions and garlic, a little butter, and a little beef tallow or beef fat, just because that's what I wanted to do. Yep, it's about 160. So I can go on and cut it. You don't want the temperature to go below 150. Oh my goodness. Down here and taste it. Oh, that's good. This is the point. So it's got a lot of fat. Wow. I'll say I outdid myself on this one. For this and the rest of my recipes, please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, cheers.